poor popcorn girl was chosen by the Millionaire CEO among 83 finalists, and what she did surprised. Imagine this. A young girl, barely in her 20s, spends her days hustling at a small popcorn stand in the corner of a bustling city. Her hands are calloused from hours of work. Her dreams feel just out of reach, and yet there's something undeniably magnetic about her. Something that draws people in without them even realizing it. Now picture this same girl standing on stage, surrounded by 82 other finalists, all vying for one life-changing opportunity. The air is thick with anticipation, the lights are blinding, and then it happens. The Millionaire CEO steps forward, points straight at her, and says those words, "That will change everything. You're the one I choose." What happens next? Well, let's just say her actions leave everyone stunned, including him. This isn't just another rags to riches story. It's so much more than that. It's about courage, authenticity, and the kind of choices that define who we really are. At its heart, this tale revolves around two very different worlds colliding. The world of luxury and privilege, represented by the Millionaire CEO, and the humble, hard-working reality of the popcorn girl. But what makes their interaction unforgettable isn't just the contrast between their lives. It's how she handles herself when given an opportunity most would kill for. Spoiler alert, she doesn't react the way anyone expects. Not even close. Let me take you back to where it all began. Our protagonist, let's call her Mia, grew up in a modest neighborhood where dreams often stayed locked inside journals or whispered late at night under flickering streetlights. She wasn't born into wealth or privilege, but she had something money can't buy, a quiet determination and a knack for seeing the good in people. Every day, Mia worked tirelessly at her family's popcorn stall, serving customers with a smile that lit up even the greyest mornings. People loved her energy, her warmth, and the way she made them feel seen. If only for a moment, little did they know she was saving every penny she earned, hoping someday to break free from the constraints of her circumstances. Enter Alexander Grant, or as he's known in headlines, the Millionaire Maverick, a self-made billionaire. Alexander built his empire from scratch, climbing his way to the top through sheer grit and innovation. He's not your typical CEO. He's enigmatic, unpredictable, and has a reputation for spotting talent where others see none. When he announced a nationwide competition to find someone special, someone who embodied values he believed were fading in today's fast-paced world, it sent shockwaves across social media. Thousands applied, sharing their stories, skills, and aspirations. From singers to scientists, entrepreneurs to artists, the pool of candidates was as diverse as it was impressive. And somehow, against all odds, Mia found herself among the final 83 contenders. The selection process was grueling. Contestants were put through challenges that tested their creativity, resilience, and character. They faced interviews designed to dig deep into their motivations, group activities meant to reveal their leadership qualities, and moments of vulnerability that left many questioning why they'd signed up in the first place. Yet through it all, Mia remained steadfast. She didn't try to be anyone she wasn't. Instead, she leaned into her strengths, her kindness, her ability to connect with others, and her unwavering belief in doing the right thing, no matter how hard it might be. Some dismissed her as too ordinary, too unpolished compared to the polished professionals around her. But Alexander noticed. Oh, he noticed. As the grand finale approached, tensions ran high. Cameras captured every nervous glance, every hopeful smile, every bead of sweat rolling down foreheads. The stakes couldn't have been higher. For some, this was their shot at fame, fortune, or validation. For Mia, it was something else entirely. Chance to prove to herself that she could step beyond the confines of her current life and embrace something bigger. Still, doubts lingered. Could she really hold her own against such accomplished individuals? Did she deserve to be here? These questions swirled in her mind as she stood on that stage, waiting for Alexander's decision. And then it happened. His voice cut through the silence, clear and deliberate. "Mia," he said, locking eyes with her. "You've been chosen." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Whispers erupted. Cameras zoomed in on her face, capturing the raw emotion etched there. Shock, disbelief, and maybe even a hint of fear. This was the moment she'd dreamed of. The moment that could change everything. So why did she look like she wanted to run? What came next shocked everyone, including Alexander himself. Instead of accepting his offer with gratitude or excitement, Mia hesitated. Her lips parted as if to speak, but no words came out. Then slowly, deliberately, she shook her head. The room fell silent. You could hear a pin drop. Why would someone turn down such an incredible opportunity? Was it nerves? Pride? Or was there something deeper driving her decision? Alexander, visibly taken aback, leaned closer. "Why?" he asked simply, his tone softening. That single question hung in the air, heavy with meaning. All eyes were on Mia now, waiting for her response. She took a deep breath, squared her shoulders, and began to speak. But before we get to what she said, and trust me, it's worth hearing, you need to understand what brought her to this point, because this isn't just about rejecting an offer from a millionaire CEO. It's about staying true to yourself, even when the whole world is watching. It's about making choices that align with your values, no matter how unconventional they may seem. And it's about discovering that sometimes the greatest victories don't come from what you gain, but from what you refuse to lose. So buckle up, because this story is far from over. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into Mia's past, uncover the real reason behind her surprising decision, and explore how Alexander reacts when faced with someone who refuses to play by his rules. Will this unexpected twist bring them closer together or drive them further apart? Stay tuned to find out. To truly understand Mia's decision, we need to go back to her childhood, a time when life was simpler, but no less challenging. Growing up in a cramped apartment with her parents and younger brother, Mia learned early on the value of hard work and sacrifice. Her father worked long hours as a mechanic, while her mother juggled multiple cleaning jobs to make ends meet. Despite their struggles, they instilled in Mia a deep sense of gratitude and an unshakable belief that kindness could move mountains. These lessons weren't just words, they were actions. Whether it was sharing their last piece of bread with a neighbor or staying up late to help her brother study, Mia lived by these principles every single day. The popcorn stand became more than just a job for Mia. It was her sanctuary. It was where she honed her people skills, listening intently to customers' stories and offering them not just snacks, but moments of connection. One elderly man, Mr. Peterson, visited almost daily, not because he craved popcorn, but because Mia always remembered his name and asked about his grandchildren. Another regular, a stressed-out office worker named Lisa, found solace in Mia's cheerful banter during her lunch breaks. To many, Mia wasn't just the popcorn girl. She was a friend, a confidant, and sometimes even a source of hope. Yet, despite her outward optimism, Mia carried a quiet longing, a desire to break free from the cycle of financial struggle and create a better future for herself and her family. When Alexander Grant announced his competition, Mia hesitated at first. She didn't think someone like her stood a chance against polished professionals with impressive resumes. But something about the way he described the qualities he was looking for resonated with her. He emphasized authenticity, resilience, and the ability to inspire others, traits Mia embodied without even realizing it. Encouraged by her best friend Rachel, who reminded her that she had nothing to lose, Mia decided to give it a shot. Little did she know, this decision would catapult her into a world far removed from her humble beginnings. As the competition progressed, Mia faced challenges that tested her in ways she never imagined. There were tasks that required quick thinking, teamwork exercises that pushed her out of her comfort zone, and interviews that forced her to confront insecurities she'd buried deep inside. At one point, she was tasked with leading a group project, and though she initially doubted her leadership abilities, she ended up rallying the team with her calm demeanor and genuine care for everyone's input. Even Alexander seemed intrigued, often lingering after evaluations to ask her questions that felt less like interrogation and more like conversation. But as much as Mia impressed others, she couldn't shake the feeling of being an outsider. The other contestants talked about private schools, international travels, and high-profile internships, things Mia had only ever read about. She worried that her lack of formal education or elite connections made her unworthy of the prize. That insecurity gnawed at her, especially as the finalists were narrowed down and the pressure mounted. Still, she refused to let it define her. Instead, she leaned harder into what made her unique: her empathy, her humor, and her ability to find joy in the smallest things. Now, standing on that stage, facing Alexander's piercing gaze, all those doubts came rushing back. When he chose her, she felt a surge of pride, but also panic. Was she ready for this? Could she handle the weight of expectations that came with such an opportunity? And most importantly, would accepting his offer mean leaving behind the very values that got her here in the first place? Alexander watched her intently, his expression unreadable. He had seen countless contestants over the years, each eager to prove themselves worthy of his attention. But Mia was different. From the moment she walked into the competition, there was something about her that intrigued him. Maybe it was the way she listened, not just to answer, but to truly understand. Or maybe it was the quiet strength she exuded, even when she thought no one was watching. Whatever it was, it made him want to know more. "Why are you hesitating?" Alexander finally asked, breaking the tense silence. His voice was softer now, almost gentle, as if he already suspected the answer might reveal something profound. Mia swallowed hard, her mind racing. How could she explain that saying yes felt like betraying the person she'd fought so hard to become? That taking his offer might mean sacrificing the simplicity and sincerity that defined her life? Before she could respond, the scene shifted slightly. Cameras zoomed in on the audience, capturing reactions ranging from confusion to admiration. Some whispered that Mia was playing hard to get, trying to build suspense before graciously accepting. Others speculated that she simply couldn't handle the pressure. Meanwhile, Rachel, seated in the front row, gripped the edge of her seat, torn between pride and worry. She knew Mia well enough to realize this wasn't an act. It was a genuine internal battle. Back on stage, Alexander took a step closer, closing the gap between them. "Mia," he said firmly, "I chose you because I see potential in you." Potential. That goes beyond what anyone else here brings to the table. Don't let fear hold you back. Fear. The word struck a chord. Fear of failure, yes, but also fear of success. What if accepting his offer changed her in ways she couldn't reverse? What if it meant losing touch with the people and places that grounded her? These questions swirled in her mind as the seconds ticked by, each one heavier than the last. Just when it seemed like Mia might cave under the pressure, a memory flashed through her mind. A conversation she'd had with her father years ago. They were sitting on their tiny balcony, eating dinner straight from paper plates. "You don't have to be perfect, Miha," he'd told her. "Just be brave." Those words echoed in her ears now, giving her the courage to speak. "I appreciate your faith in me," Mia began, her voice trembling but resolute. "But I need to know, what exactly am I agreeing to? Because if it means losing myself in the process, then I can't do it." The room erupted into murmurs again, but Alexander silenced them with a raised hand. His eyes narrowed, not in anger, but in curiosity. "Fair enough," he replied. "But tell me this. How do you plan to grow if you stay exactly where you are?" It was a loaded question, one that struck at the heart of Mia's dilemma. Growth versus authenticity, opportunity versus identity. As the tension reached its peak, the audience leaned forward, hanging on every word. Would Mia find a way to reconcile these opposing forces? Or would she walk away from the biggest chance of her life? What happened next would change everything, not just for Mia and Alexander, but for everyone watching. Mia took a deep breath, her heart pounding in her chest. She looked out at the sea of faces, cameras flashing, people whispering, and then back at Alexander. For a moment, she felt like the entire world was holding its breath, waiting for her next move. But instead of answering his question directly, she did something unexpected. She asked one of her own. "Mr. Grant," she said, her voice steady now, "why did you really choose me?" The room fell silent again, this time heavier than before. It was as if Mia had flipped the script, turning the spotlight onto Alexander instead of herself. He paused, clearly caught off guard. After a long moment, he exhaled slowly and stepped closer to her. "Because," he began, his tone measured, but tinged with vulnerability, "you reminded me of someone I used to know, someone who believed in doing what's right, even when it wasn't easy." His words hung in the air, carrying a weight that Mia hadn't anticipated. She tilted her head slightly, studying him. "And who was that?" she asked softly. Alexander hesitated, his gaze dropping for just a second before meeting hers again. "My sister," he admitted. "She passed away years ago, but she always stood by her principles, no matter the cost. Seeing you, it brought back memories of her, memories I thought I'd lost." For the first time since the competition began, there was a crack in Alexander's polished exterior. The millionaire CEO wasn't just some untouchable figure anymore. He was a man with regrets, longing, and a story of his own. Mia felt a pang of empathy for him, realizing that beneath all the wealth and power, he was searching for something too, something meaningful. "I'm sorry about your sister," Mia said sincerely. Then after a beat, she added, "But I think she'd want you to honor her memory by helping others find their own path, not forcing them into yours." The audience gasped audibly, unsure whether Mia had just crossed a line or delivered the boldest truth they'd ever heard. Alexander stared at her, his jaw tightening briefly before relaxing. To everyone's surprise, he didn't lash out or shut down. Instead, he nodded slowly, almost imperceptibly. "You're right," he said quietly. "I've been so focused on finding someone perfect that I forgot why I started this competition in the first place." With those words, the tension in the room shifted. It wasn't just about winning anymore. It was about understanding, growth, and connection. And in that moment, Mia realized something important. She didn't have to choose between staying true to herself and embracing opportunity. Maybe there was a way to do both. "I'll accept your offer," Mia said finally, her voice clear and confident. "But only if we can work together to create something that helps people like me. People who need a chance, but don't fit into traditional boxes." Her proposal was simple yet powerful. Use Alexander's resources to build programs that empower underprivileged communities, teaching skills and fostering dreams without erasing individuality. Alexander's eyes lit up, a spark of inspiration replacing the skepticism that had lingered earlier. "Deal," he said, extending his hand. As Mia shook it, the crowd erupted into applause. Many rising to their feet, cameras flashed wildly, capturing the historic handshake between the billionaire CEO and the popcorn girl who refused to compromise. In the weeks that followed, Mia became the face of Alexander's new initiative, traveling across the country to share her story and inspire others. The program she helped design provided scholarships, mentorship, and hands-on training for individuals from underserved backgrounds. People marveled at how seamlessly Mia balanced her newfound fame with her humble roots, never forgetting where she came from. She still visited her family's popcorn stand whenever she could, laughing with customers and sharing updates about her journey. As for Alexander, working alongside Mia rekindled a part of him he thought he'd buried long ago. He learned to listen more, judge less, and trust in the potential of those around him. Their partnership grew into a friendship built on mutual respect and shared purpose. Together, they proved that success isn't just about climbing higher. It's about lifting others up along the way. Looking back, Mia often reflected on that pivotal night when everything changed. What started as a seemingly impossible choice turned into an opportunity to redefine what success truly meant, not just for herself, but for countless others. She proved that authenticity and ambition aren't mutually exclusive. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is stay true to yourself while reaching for the stars. And so, the story of the popcorn girl and the millionaire CEO became more than just a tale of unlikely collaboration. It became a reminder that greatness lies not in titles or bank accounts, but in the courage to follow your heart, even when the world expects you to play it safe.